What's up, you certified beauties? Nick here from Nick's Taxes, back with another video. StatsCan has recently released the statistics regarding who received the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, also known as the CERB, and they had it allocated between the provinces and the type of people who applied. So in today's video, we're going to look at the breakdown to give you a little bit more insight on who received the CERB. Also, we're going to take a look at the current state of our economy based on last month's statistics. So if that's of interest to you, please stay tuned. Also, before we get started, before we move any further, please smash the thumbs up button. It just helps my channel grow. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Most people who watch my videos actually are not subscribed, so just take that extra second, hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me to support the channel. Thank you so much. Before we get started, normally I put like a question lately on a certain topic. Last one was about the Stanley Cup. This one, I just found out that they're planning to have the Calgary Stampede this year. So from July 9th to July 18th, they're planning on actually having the Calgary Stampede. Last year, obviously, it was canceled. And with it being summer, people are thinking about vacations. I'm thinking about taking a vacation. And my question to you guys is, if you could travel anywhere in Canada for a vacation, where would you go? I'm thinking right now Calgary Stampede might be at the top of the list, but if you guys know of a good spot that's worth visiting, that is like COVID proof for this summer, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, StatsCan has come out with some statistics regarding the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. Also, in my last video, we talked about people who were self-employed that may have repaid the CERB but later found out that they were eligible based on that $5,000 income threshold. You can now go back to the CRA and reapply for that amount that you had paid back to the CRA, so you can get your full CERB back. So you can go check out that video. Links were in the description there if you need to. Otherwise, just Google the Canada website and you should be able to find the application there. But let's see who actually applied for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. The amount that was totally given out between March 15th and September 26th, 2020 was approximately $74 billion in emergency pandemic aid, which is crazy. Out of all Canadians who earned at least $5,000 in 2019, 35.2% got at least some money from a Canada Emergency Response Program, whether that was CERB or some other pandemic aid. So that's over a third of Canadians were impacted by this pandemic and needed to rely or use the Canada pandemic aid to support themselves. So that is substantial. In the top three provinces that needed the CERB the most, number 3 was Alberta at 34.8% of people. Ontario was next at 35.8%. And then the province that had the most amount of CERB recipients was Quebec at 37.7%. If you remember, Quebec was one of those provinces that issued a curfew. I don't think they have that anymore, but they were really hit hard, and it definitely shows by the amount of people who applied for CERB. So 37.7% was the highest. The province with the least amount of CERB recipients was Saskatchewan at 28.6%, and even then 28.6% I believe is a really high value. That's over a quarter of your people getting the CERB. Again, according to Stats Canada, the top industries where workers needed the CERB the most were, let's look at the top 5. We'll do construction at 5. Number 4 was administrative support, waste management. Number 3 was different services such as mechanics, funeral services, personal care, organizing and promoting religious activities. Number 2 was the arts, entertainment, and recreation industry. And number 1, as you probably guessed, was the accommodation and food service industry. That was the highest hit group or industry that relied on the CERB. Also, the low-wage, younger, and visible minority workers were the most likely also to apply for CERB payments. Obviously, right now, the CERB is canceled, so I had a couple questions in my last video in the comments saying, hey, how can I go apply for CERB? You cannot. CERB has now transitioned to the Canada Recovery Benefit, the CRB. It's quite similar, but there are some key differences. Obviously, one of them is you can't go back and apply for CERB. You need to be on the CRB. In the latest budget, Canada has proposed that the CRB beginning in July, so a month from now, they're actually going to cut the amount that they're going to give to eligible recipients. Right now, the amount for Canada Recovery Benefit is $500 per week, but they're looking at lowering that to $300 per week. Canada's idea behind this is that the economy is going to be recovering and hopefully less people need to be on this program and less people should be relying on it. And hopefully that cut would promote people or encourage people to find work again. However, a latest study shows that our economy isn't necessarily headed in the right direction, which would go against this whole idea of cutting the CRB down to $300 per week. Statistics Canada has said last month, which is the month of April, Canada's economy lost 207,000 jobs. This was the first time that the jobless rate actually increased since January. Statistics Canada said that 129,000 full-time jobs were lost, along with 78,000 part-time positions. Right now, the jobless rate is at 8.1%. Last month, so in March, the percentage was 7.5%. So quite a bit of an increase there between March and April. A lot of economists were predicting a drop in jobs. They were predicting around 175,000. So this is more than what the economists even expected for the month of April, which obviously is not good. Now, almost half of the job losses were to young workers, those between the ages of 15 and 24 years old. Most of those job losses were actually in the hardest hit sectors, which makes sense, that employ a lot of young people. Those include retail, food services, information, and culture and recreation. So with that being said, in our economy heading in the wrong direction in terms of jobs, I don't see how they're going to be decreasing the CERB. I don't see that being a realistic option, and I don't think that would make sense based on the numbers that we're seeing. Yes, in April we saw a tightened lockdown in places like Ontario, where we saw more of a complete lockdown again, and that was extended from May and now kind of heading into June. I know as we head into June, we get a little bit more optimism with the warmer weather and the summertime coming in. And there are plans, I know, in Alberta to be fully open by July, and Ontario has a 3-step program, and BC's opening up, and yada, yada, yada. But when we're losing jobs at that rate, I don't know how Canada can afford to cut the amount of CRB that some people are receiving, especially when certain industries are still in a lockdown. They're still not able to operate or operate at a full capacity. So once places start to operate at a full capacity, we could see more people get re-employed back into these areas. But you know, when you can't have a certain amount of employees on the floor or in a certain area, it makes it hard for people. And so if you're still on the CRB, I feel for you, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on what's going on with the Canada Recovery Benefit. As of right now, that proposal to slash down to $300 in the CRB extension is still not official. So once that happens, or if that happens, I will let you guys know. And the new CRB eligibility period, I believe, comes out next week. So I will have another video going over who's going to be eligible and when you can apply and so on and so forth. The last one was open the Monday, the Victoria Day holiday Monday. There was a big error during that day, so hopefully this Monday it goes a little bit smoother. Obviously the last Monday was a holiday, so it kind of makes sense, but we will see. It's just mind-blowing to me still that the CRA can't figure this out. They're still getting errors, and we've had these programs for over a year now. Anyway, that is today's CRB and CERB update. Let me know what you think. If you got value out of this video, again, thumbs up and consider subscribing. So thanks again for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm Nick from Nick's Taxes, and happy taxing.